Mahamahopatyaya, Professor P.C. Muraleemadhavan sir, to kindly deliver the invited lecture titled Historical Glimpses of Faith, the Identity of Brahman and Nārāyaṇa Śaṅkara's Observations Reflected in the Bhāṣyas. A brief introduction of Professor Muraleemadhavan sir. So he is a recipient of Rashtrapati Puraskar for the lifetime contribution to Sanskrit. He is currently the Director-in-Chief, Kandallur Sala Institute for Higher Learning and Research in Ancient Indian Wisdom, Thiruvananthapuram. He was the former professor and head department of Sanskrit, Central Sanskrit University, Guruvayur campus, and the former director and planning and development in Sri Shankaracharya University, and also the former professor and head of the department of Sanskrit Sahitya at SWHAS Kalady. Professor Muraleemadhavan produced 30 doctoral degrees and composed, edited, translated, commented, and published 25 books in English, Sanskrit, and Malayalam. He authored more than 200 research articles in all these languages too. Among his kavyas, Bringageetham, Ambastavam, Kavi Bhaskaram Naumi, etc. were considered for several national awards. Among Sanskrit commentaries, the Rasigaranjani commentary on Chadaka Santesha and Nigashwapala, Sanskrit commentary for Vyutpatti Vadakarika, were awarded with academic recognitions like Mallinath Puraskar and Vijayashree Award. Among his dedicated edited works, Facets of Indian Culture, Indian Theories of Hermeneutics, Effulgence of Indian Wisdom, New Horizons of Ontological Research, etc. need special mention. He unearthed 18 unpublished Sanskrit works. Professor Muraleemadhavan was the first teacher in Sanskrit Sahitya at Sri Shankaracharya University of Sanskrit on regular basis from the very inception of the university. He is one among the few professors who shaped the university named after Sri Shankaracharya. We are truly honored to have him today with us. I once again request Professor Muraleemadhavan to please take over the dais and enlighten us with his valuable insights. Over to you, sir.
Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Logashankaram Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parambaram. It is a matter of great happiness and immense pleasure and pride to stand before you to talk something about the great gifted soul of India, the great Acharya, Jagadguru Shankaracharya. Most of the faces are familiar to me here, those who are sitting here in front of me. Due to the paucity of time, we are running late. I am rather requested to present a paper and on Shankara's philosophy. So I will read my paper. I am not fully reading the paper because it is meant for publication. It is somewhat large. So precisely I will be talking. And I will read the paper whenever any clarification is required, that I will do on the spot within my limitations. Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya, the highest intellectual the world has ever produced, was unique in the history of thought, as he combined in himself the best qualities of a poet, philosopher, logician, sahridaya, devotee, mystic, interpreter, commentator, religious reformer, and an organizer. He was the architect of the monistic system of philosophy, and hence that system of thought is named after him. The popularity and recognition of this system of Indian philosophy went to the extent of using the word Vedanta as a synonym of Advaita Vedanta, or the better known Śaṅkara Vedanta. Śaṅkara never refuted totally any of the doctrines preached by his predecessors, but he denied the ultimate reality of these doctrines. All the other systems of Indian philosophy were given the status of upaya, that is marga, in Śaṅkara philosophy, so as to reach the final goal, that is Advaita Vedanta, Advaita. He was the most towering personality of Indian philosophy. Acharya Śaṅkara throws behind him all the rishis and philosophers of the world. Thus, the tribute goes to Śaṅkara, thus, na staumitam vyasam asheshamartham samyang na sutrairabi yoba bandha vinapitaihi sangridhitakhilartham Sri Śaṅkaram naumi sureshwaram cha. Age cannot wither, nor customs stale the infinite variety of the genius called Śaṅkara, the epitome of India. Even after more than 1,000 years, the manifold efforts of his gigantic impact in the form of commentaries, prakarana works, and sweet devotional songs are palpable everywhere. He lived for only 32 years, but he continues scoring centuries in the world of thought, life, and light. For Śaṅkara's life is the shining example of Indian philosophy and spirituality lived and applied to daily life. He is the example of religion in action. What is the crux of the Śaṅkara Vedanta, Śaṅkara's Advaita Vedanta? To put in a nutshell with a few sentences, this entire universe consists of two categories, Kshetra and Kshetrajna, the inanimate and the animate. Kshetrajna is Jiva, and as Kshetra is the Sharira. All his activities have the single purpose of getting happiness and avoiding grief. He does not always succeed. On the other hand, he gets inescapably enmeshed in the web created by himself. Shastra says that his basic error is that he considers himself to be the body and searches for happiness outside him. Even though, in fact, he is actually the bliss himself. He is actually bliss. Himself he is a bliss, but he is searching bliss outside. It is natural. Why do I miss when you come to that he does not know this is the avidya, and mistaking the body for himself is his adhyasa. So this avidya and adhyasa, how I am not the body. In deep sleep, that is in sushupti, you have no connection with the body, etc. And you enjoy your own natural bliss. After deep sleep, without any dreams and other things, no vyapara of the mind, after sleep, when you get up, you say that, I enjoyed my life. I enjoyed sukhamaham aswapsam, na kinjid avedisham. I don't know anything what happened outside. I enjoyed. You don't know your body, you don't know your mind, you are not aware about anything, still you enjoyed. So who enjoyed it? And what was that type of enjoyment you had. If it is natural, why do I miss it in the awake? This happiness I am not getting in when I am awake. It is because you commit the mistake of considering yourself as the body. Why do I commit this mistake? This is the question. It is because you commit the mistake of considering yourself as the body. And why do you commit that mistake? Why commit this mistake? It is because you do not know who you are. And when you are totally free from the body, etc., then who am I? You are Brahman. Now we are coming to the crux of Advaita Vedanta. So, who am I? The answer is, you are Brahman. Then the question comes, what is Brahman? It is the material cause. You see, with one single sentence, Śaṅkara answers, what is Brahman? It is the material cause of this whole universe, including your body. How do I understand that I am Brahman? The answer is, Brahman is Satyam, unchanging. Jnanam. What is Jnanam? That stuff which takes the form of various knowledges, like this is pot, this is cover, this is mobile, like that, while remaining unchanging in itself. And last, Anandam, unlimited in every sense of the word. The universe is, what is universe? If this is the Brahman, what is the universe? Universe is asatyam, changing. Asatyam means always change. Jadam, that is inert. And sandam, limited, unlike Brahman. Limited, unlike Brahman, that is sandam. Changing, inert, and then sandam, unlike Brahman. Though it is not itself befit of Brahman, the very nature of Brahman is Ananda, bliss. It is one and only one because it is Jnanam. So Ananda and Jnana is not different. Satyam, Jnanam, Anandam all are same. You mean to say that I am this Brahman? Yes. How? You are yourself Satyam, Jnanam and Anandam in deep sleep. Then why do I miss this Ananda? How I miss? Why do I miss this bliss while awake? Because you wrongly think that you are the body. Do you mean to say that I will never miss it if I avoid this mistake? Exactly. This is called self-realization. How do it come about? How this self-realization come out? Then, to begin with, to start the Vedanta studies, what is the prerequisite? What is essentially needed? To begin with, one should give up asuri gunas and cultivate daivi gunas. He should cherish worldly desires only within the ambit of what we call dharma. What is admissible according to dharma, only that should you cherish desire. Ethics, that is, dharma means ethics. Later on, he should give up worldly desires and do only nishkama karma with a purified mind. Then, through shastra shravana, manana and nididhyasana, ultimately one leads to self-realization. It is clear that dharma or ethics is the first and the foremost foundation stone of the final goal of life, that is self-realization. Shankara's definition of God, now coming to the Nārāyaṇa and Brahman, their identity, to that, coming to that point. Shankara's definition of God makes it clear that according to him, God is not an entity, numerically different from the absolute, but is in essence identical with the absolute. Thus, Śaṅkara states, Brahman, conditioned by the name and form, with limited adjuncts, born of avidya, become God. Like the all-pervading universal space, limited by a jar, etc. Sri Śaṅkara starts his sloka, the first sloka of Govinda Ashtaka, a stotra which is highly philosophical in nature. Satyam jnanamanandam nityamanakasam paramakasam goshtha prangana ringana lolamanayasam paramayasam goshtha prangana ringana lolam anayasam paramayasam maya kalpita nanakaram anakaram bhuvanakaram kshmamanathamanatham pranamata Govindam Paramanandam. This verse from the entire stotra proves beyond doubt that God is Brahman, conditioned by name and form, born of avidya. The attributes of Brahman like Satyam, Jnanam and Anandam, this is what is said in the Upanishad mantra. That mantra is without any change, it is taken as the attributes of Govinda. The attributes of Brahman like Satyam, Jnanam and Anandam given in Upanishads are also the real attributes of Nārāyaṇa, that is Govinda, according to Śaṅkara. Hence, they are identical. First, we can take up for consideration Shankaracharya's commentary on Brahma Sutra Bhāṣya, which according to him deals with Brahman and also have the same import as that of the Upanishads. It must be noted that Badarayana has no sutra equating his Brahman with Lord Nārāyaṇa, that is Vishnu. But some of the passages in Śaṅkara's commentary clearly states that he meant Lord Nārāyaṇa, Vishnu, by his concept of Brahman. He takes up for explanation the term Andaryamin, indweller, occurring in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. While discussing in Brahma Sutra regarding this concept of Brahman, he quotes from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. You know, mostly Brahma Sutra, all the Mahavakyas are being interpreted with the support of Upanishad Vakyas only. Shruti. Upanishad means Shruti. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the mantra 3.7.10, Ya prithivyam tishthan, prithivya andaro yam prithivi, naveda, yasya prithivi shariram, yaha prithivi mandaro yamayatyesha, sa atma andaryamyamrataha. This mantra proves that the indweller is the Paramatman or the highest soul. Now, who is this Paramatman? Acharya, in his commentary on the same passage of this mantra in the said Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where he states in Śaṅkara Bhāṣya, Ya prithivyam tishtan bhavadi, sondaryami, Sarvaha prithivyam tishtadidi sarvatra prasango mabhudidi visinasti. It goes like that, but it is a long passage. I will read the relevant portion. Yaha idrgishwaro Nārāyaṇākhyah. Brahman is Nārāyaṇa. Ya idrishaha idrgishwaro Nārāyaṇākhyah. Prithivim prithivī devadam yamayati niyamayati suvyapare. Andarobhyandarasthishtan Eshata Atma Te Tava Mamacha Sarvabhutanam Jedi Upalakshanarthatvat. Artham Andaryami Yadastvaya Prashtaha Amritaha Sarvasadharana Dharma Varjita Ityedat. So, I think there is no doubt about Dharma, that Brahma Sutra, whether it is written by Shankaracharya or not. People say there are so many controversies about the devotional songs. But as far as three Bhāṣyas are concerned, that is, it is categorically, it has been approved by every sects of scholars that Brahma Sutra and Upanishad Bhāṣya and Brahma Sutra Bhāṣya and Bhagavad Gita Bhāṣya, all these, even Vishnu Sahasranama Bhāṣya is being approved. Such a Lord named Nārāyaṇa controls the presiding deity of the earth element in its functioning. In the Smrityadhikarana also, there is a mention of the indweller, Andaryamin, who is equated with Nārāyaṇa. If on the ground of the fault of leaving no scope to certain smritis, the view, Śaṅkara depends on Shruti first. Without Shruti, he will never accept anything. You cannot see a single doctrine preached by him without the backing of Shruti, without the full support of the Shruti. Shruti without any reason, without any questioning, Śaṅkara admitted as the direct proof, document for that. So Shruti is the first, that is Veda. Some places we may require some evidence apart from Veda. There he depends on Smriti. And even sometimes Smriti fails to give some answer. There he depends on Purana. That is why Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam. Why Śaṅkara is said like that? Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam. Shruti is the first evident, Smriti is the second evident, and the third one is Purana. So, in Smrityadhikarana, we were discussing about the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, that is Shruti. And there is, in Smriti also, there are several references. And if on the ground of the fault of leaving no scope to certain Smritis, the view that the Lord is the cause is objected to, then in the case of other Smritis, proclaiming the Lord as the cause would be avoid of any, what we call, any scope. So, see, I have quoted several slokas from Mahabharata, that is Smriti text, but I am not taking all these slokas, but at least 5 slokas are there. The last sloka, to connecting all the 4 above mentioned 5 slokas, the last sloka he mentions, I will give the translation because otherwise I have to read Mula and then again explain that. Listen, accordingly to this consent statement, the ancient Nārāyaṇa, he was talking about Nārāyaṇa, the ancient Nārāyaṇa, Sanatana Nārāyaṇa, ancient Nārāyaṇa is all this. He creates everything at the creation time and again consumes it all at the sublation period. So, Smriti also supports that. And when you come to Bhagavad Gita, that is also Smriti portion. Even though he is elevated to the position of Shastra, because Śaṅkara always called it Gita Shastra. So it is highly scientific. Bhagavad Gita in the 7th chapter, 6th shloka, it is said, I am the source as also the dissolution of the entire world. From him springs all bodies. He is the root, the eternal and the unchangeable. Thus, in many a place, even the Smritis show forth the Lord as being both the constituent and the efficient cause. Here, I think there are several slokas to be quoted there, but I skip it. When it appears in the printed form, I think you will get the complete text of that. It means that all the above passages quoted with approval by Shankaracharya confirm the import of the scriptures and are hence fully authoritative. Among these passages, the Purana is also a document, a proof, a testimony. And the Vishnu Purana, Bhagavata Purana you know very well. Bhagavata Purana gives thousands of examples explaining how Narayana is the Paramatman and Parabrahman. And the last phase of the Uddhava Upadesha, he explains about the gopis. He was telling about gopis. Ahobhagyam Nandagopa Vrajaugasam Yan Mitram Paramanandam Purnam Brahma Sanatana. Purnam Brahma Sanatana. See, so Narayana, Krishna is equated to Brahman. In Vishnu Purana, you have several passages. The very sloka started with Avikaraya Shuddhaya Nityaya Paramatmane Sadaiga Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Sarvajishnave Yadaksharam Brahma Ya Ishvara Puman Gunormi Srishti Sthidikala Samlayaha Prathana Buddhyadi Jagat Prapanjasuhu Sanostu Vishnurmadi Bhudi Mukridaha. In Vishnu Purana, there are some other slokas quoted to prove this. All these passages asserts that Narayana is the supermost God and his supremacy is the quintessence of all the scriptural teachings. As we have seen now I read some slokas from Vishnu Purana, there is a beautiful depiction of Krishna in the form of Paramatma, both in Sakara and Nirakara form. You cannot say Nirakara form because Nirakara itself is formless. But it is in two ways, Sakara and Nirakara. There is a beautiful context. One Gopika, she cannot join in the dance, in the Rasa Nritta, and because she is having some problem with her leg. And she was standing away from the group of the dance people. In Yamuna river, in the bank of the Yamuna river, in the night, it is flooded with moon. A great performance was going on. Each gopi was putting her hand on Krishna. There are several Krishnas. Several Krishnas are appearing. But this gopi is not noticing other Krishnas. The Krishna which is along with her, she is not noticing. Seeing this beautiful scene from outside, she is moved with great sorrow because she could not join with Krishna for dance. So she was suffering her papa. And she had punya also. Why? She is always seeing the Paramatma in different forms. Several Krishnas. Tada prapri mahadukha vilina sheshapataka tachinda vibulahlada kshina punyachaya sati chindayandi jagatsudim parabrahmaswarubinam niruchwasataya mukringata anya gopaganyaga. So that Gopakanyaka got salvation, reached the Paramatman Krishna before those who are dancing with him. There are several Gopikas dancing with him, but they could not merge in him. But before that, this Gopika, who could not join with the dance, was deprived of standing away from Krishna, keeping a distance. She first joined Krishna. Paramatmali Leena. Tada prapri mahadukha vilina sheshapataga tachinda vipulahlada kshina punyachaya sadi Chindayandi Jagatsudhim Parabrahmaswarupinam Niruchwasataya Mukringatanya Gopaganyaka. Here in this sloka, the first part of this verse deals with Lord Krishna with limited attributes, while the second part, Uttarartha, Chindayandi Jagatsudhim Parabrahmaswarupinam. So it is entirely different from Sakara. And the second part depicts Krishna identical with ultimate Brahman. In the last Adhikarana, the second quarter of second Adhyaya of the Brahma Sutra, Śaṅkara takes up for criticism the doctrine of the Bhagavatas. Here, I am giving some hint only because there is no time for that. Here he clearly declares that over the superiority of Lord Vishnu and terms him the Paramatman or the highest soul. Further, one can turn one's attention to the last sutra of the Brahma Sutra, 4.4.22, that is the last sutra, Jagad Vyaparadhikarana, that is the last one. Anavarti Shabdad is the last sutra, talking about the final emancipation, final, what we call the goal you are going to reach with Shruti, Shabdad. Shabda means only Shruti. Śaṅkara accept no other Shabdas. He accepts Shruti as the Shabda. So that starts like that. When Badarayana declares this in the Jagad Vyaparadhikarana, declares that the soul securing salvation do not return to this mundane world. There is no punaravarti, no coming back. The moot question is, where do they depart and live for eternity, enjoying the bliss of salvation? This is the question. Śaṅkara directs us to a previous sutra. Before that, there is another sutra. The last sutra I am talking about Anavarti Shabdadidi. To explain that sutra, he takes us to a previous sutra where he gave that is Karyatya Adhikarana. Karyatya Adhikarana 4.3.10. That sutra is like that. Karyatyaye tadadhyakshena saha atah paramabhidhanat. I will read the Shankara Bhāṣya for that. Only 3-4 sentences. Karya brahmaloka pralaya pratyupasthane sati tatraiva ulpanna samyak darshanaha sandaha tadadhyakshena hiranyagarbhena saha ataha param parishuddham vishnoho paramam padam. So, Brahman is considered as the Param Brahman. Pratipadyata iti. Itham kramamukri anavrityadi shruti abhidheyena abhibagandavyaha. Like this he concludes that discussion. So, the final Anavarti Sutra, to explain that, he goes back and take the Karyatya Sutra and explain it and say that there I have said that there is Paramam Padam Vishnu. According to Śaṅkara, this sutra contains an answer to the doubt whether the souls reaching Brahmaloka or the divine abode of his Karya Brahma secure final release from this mundane worldly existence, because the seers of the Upanishads declare that only those reaching the highest Brahman do not have any return to the world. Badarayana replies that the souls who reach to the Karya Brahmaloka, having secured the true knowledge, go to the Vishnuloka, which is pure and is the highest abode, together with the Karya Brahma, that is Hiranyagarbha. Thus, they will never return to this mundane world. This is the quotation. This means that Vishnu is the highest Brahman. His Loka is the highest abode to be reached by the liberated souls, and therein no return of those souls when once they reach that abode. They are there, they live for eternity, enjoying the bliss of liberation. Under the next sutra, Shankaracharya quotes with approval of the Smriti passage, which confirms the going of the liberated to the highest abode together with Hiranyagarbha Brahman. Thus, Shankaracharya declares Lord Vishnu to be the highest Brahman in his commentary on Karyateya Adhikarana, that is 4.3.10. Now, I think so many things are there to be told, and to establish this further, I have given several documents based on that. What Dr. Murali told regarding Guruvayur, that in the temple the entire puja krama has been taken up, by being stipulated by Shankaracharya, by His Holiness. While he was going through air, Yoga Siddhi, he was flying, and Vishnu catch him and brought to the down, and where he has fallen inside the temple, that place where Dr. Murali has mentioned, that when the Shiveli, the big procession of the god, comes, even the god stands there and give respect to the adoration to Shankaracharya for a moment, and then they move. Everything they stop. Even Vadya and other things, everything will be stopped. God himself, he will stop there. So that is there. No, this is not a new information, Dr. Murali, because 400 years back, 450 years back, when Madhpatur Nārāyaṇa Bhattadiri composed the verse, the Nārayaniyam, I think he mentioned, he gave one sloka, Sri Shankarobi Bhagavan Sakaleshu Taval Tvameva Manayadi Yo Nahi Pakshapati Tunnishtameva Sahi Namasahasragadi Vyakhil Bhavastudi Parascha Gadim Gatonde. So, it is not that much he told, that Shankara fallen down there, and then Vishnu asked him to, Guruvayurappan asked him to arrange all the puja vidhis there in the temple, and finally he composed Vishnu Sahasranama in the temple. See, that extent he has mentioned. Tonnishtameva sahi Nama Sahasragadi Vyakhil Bhavalstudi Parascha Gadim Gato Onde. So, Madhpatur very clearly mentions that Vishnu Sahasranama is being composed when Shankara was fallen there in the Krishna temple in Guruvayur. So, these are great connections we have. And his, what we call his philosophy, showing the identity of Narayana to Brahman, there are several personal history incidents are also involved in that. To cite one or two. One, I will tell you that when mother was sick, and at the last days of her life, she has a desire to see Shankara, and Shankara immediately reached by by air, a Yoga Siddhi. Then he composed, on her request, Shankara composed first she wants some peace in the mind. She wants to hear the ultimate, that the real creator of this world. She never mentioned the name of the God. Then he first composed the Shiva Bhujanga. And she is not happy. She was frightened. Then Shankara immediately composed the Vishnu Bhujanga. The famous verse, Chidam Samvidam Nirmalam Nirvigalpam Niriham niragaramongaragамyam gunādītamavyakrame kanduriyam param brahmayam veda tasmai namaste. So it starts with that. And finally, through Vishnu Bhujanga, she has been elevated to the Vishnu Loka, and that is the story goes like that. So there are several, not only I have shown, because based on stories we cannot prepare a research paper. So when we prepare a research paper, it should be fully equipped with proof, with documents. I think Dr. Murali will agree with me. So, which are the documents which we can believe? Already all scholars accept. Our personal belief is something different. But when you think about research, when you think about the documents you needed to prove your theory, that is the Nārāyaṇa is identical to Brahman, we have to base the original, the horse mouth, we have to hear from that. What Śaṅkara say about it. So I based on Brahma Sutra, I based on Upanishad Bhāṣya, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad I mentioned, that Upanishad mantra and other things. And I depended on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, several portions I have not read, but that is I have mentioned. You know Bhagavad Gita, it is a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna. So automatically the Krishna is the, whatever you speak about Parabrahman or Paramatman, whatever it may be, that is directly goes to Krishna. So with these observations, I beg to remain. I have not read my full paper. I have agreed that I will give Dr. Murali the full text of my paper, showing the what we call with all relevant records based on Shankara's own saying. That Panoli used to tell that Shankara's own words. Own words means not taken in depth from anybody. It is from his own. So with this, anyway, we have no doubt that Śaṅkara is born in Kalady, and the story is connected with the Kaipulli Mana and other things. And Parvu Mana is the Ammat, that is mother's house, Illam. And all these things are accepted, and there is no controversies needed for that. But there are some personal stories connected with this, have some dispute that we have to solve. Main things are already accepted and established. So with these observations, I beg to remain. Thank you for this opportunity to give the first lecture in this, invited lecture in this seminar, well organized by Dr. Murali and Dr. Sridhar. And it is a wonderful experience that we are getting. And that too, we are conducting this in Agamananda Swami's presence. Agamananda Swami is the living legend in front of us, who has implemented the great principles of Advaita in this land of Sankara. Agamananda, you know, the trouble he has undergone, the turmoil that he has undergone in this land to establish this great. And perhaps there are only 2 ashramas, mathas are known after Advaita. One is this, Ramakrishna Advaita Ashram. So Advaita is practically done here, and it is a great propriety that we organize such a meaningful seminar on Śaṅkara in Agamananda Swamiji's land. He is the Shilpi of Kalady. He is the patron of this Kalady, who has done extensively. From socialist point of view, he is the best socialist. When you go through his history, he speaks at length for downtrodden, weaker people, weaker sets. So, such a wonderful human being, Agamananda Swamigal. So, with his sweet remembrances, I conclude this paper. Thank you, one and all. Yeah. Narayaniyam, it is 1013 slokas in Narayaniyam. It's divided into dashakas, 10 slokas. Some dashakas are having one or two more slokas are also. Totally it is 1013 slokas, composed by Malpattur Narayana Bhattadri. He is a great devotee of Guru Ayyappan and Krishna, Lord Krishna. And in the 90th dashaka, the 5th sloka, he mentioned, 2 slokas he is using for that. And the Sri Śaṅkarovi Bhagavan Sakaleshu Taval, it starts like that. And that is 90th dashaka, chapter, 5th sloka. Okay.